sticking strictly to the offense on this stream. So who will be the 6 wide receivers that make it? So last season, the 49ers did keep 6 wide receivers on the roster. Like I said, again, there's no reason to me why they wouldn't keep it the same this year. And like the 49er running back room, it seems like we already know at least who the top 5 are going to be, right? So clearly it's going to be Debo, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Ray McLeod, and Danny Gray, right? So those are the 5 that are shoo-ins to be able to make it. Now, who is that 6th wide receiver? So, in my books, is going to come down to 2 players. Those 2 players are Malik Turner and Marcus Johnson, right? So those are the 2 on the roster that I believe are going to be vying for that 6th and final roster spot. And as of now, I would give the edge to Malik Turner, and for a few reasons, right? So Malik Turner has a lot of experience in the league, right? He's played for teams like Seattle, the Cowboys. He can play not only wide receiver, but has experience playing in special teams, right? So I do believe that 6th wide receiver is going to be somebody who has to be able to play special teams. And when you look at who our special teams coordinator is, our special teams coordinator is Brian Schneider, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks. Well, guess who was one of his players when he was over there in Seattle? Malik Turner, right? So already having that familiarity with Brian Schneider, and already Brian Schneider knowing that Malik Turner can play and play well for him in special teams, to me, that's why it's pretty much his job to lose. However, that isn't saying that a guy like Marcus Johnson, who has shown the ability to play not only in the league, but also has had some really good moments in the offseason for the 49ers so far, he could definitely produce. And if he produces at a higher level and really makes it hard for Kyle Shanahan and the rest of the offense to not keep him on the roster, right? He could be somebody that makes it and edges out Malik Turner. So that's going to be a very interesting battle, I think, in the 49ers training camp, to see who ends up making that 6th spot. And another thing is, can that 6th spot be somebody that's not even on the roster right now? Dare we believe that Kyle Shanahan might be eyeing a guy like Julio Jones, who could come in and be that player to make the roster, right? And obviously Julio Jones is out there as a free agent. He is somebody who has had some great years under Kyle Shanahan, when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator over there in Atlanta. Now, even though it sounds great, and they possibly could get Julio Jones on the cheap just because, he's still out there, and, there probably aren't any teams that are willing to pay him big money, and he probably just wants to make a roster and have a chance to play. Let's talk about the benefits and why it could work and why it couldn't work, right? So the benefits, I think, is Julio Jones obviously brings in, an elite. He's an elite. He used to be an elite player. I don't know if you can still consider him an elite player, but we're talking about Julio Jones, one of the greatest wide receivers ever to play in the league. So even though the 49ers have a lot of talent there, I guess when you talk about the most experience, right? We got Debo there, who's been in the league for 4 years, right? So Julio Jones would immediately come in and be able to take a leadership role in that wide receiver room. Can you imagine what he would be able to teach guys like Ayuk, like a guy like Juwan Jennings, as far as intricacies on how to play the position? So those are some benefits there. Obviously, Julio Jones is a bigger body, a bigger wide receiver than maybe what the 49ers have right now. So when you're talking about goal line and red zone, things like that, a third downs even, this is a guy who could come in and immediately make an impact just because of his frame, his mentality, his ability to run routes, and just, his hands, right? So this is definitely somebody who could come in and, play the role and immediately can make an impact. And exactly, 916, I believe Julio still strikes fear in the red zone. And that is a position that the 49ers could utilize, right? Could utilize Julio Jones in red zone and third down opportunities, goal line, all of those types of things. Now, why I personally believe it is a long shot, right? Because that sixth guy, like I said, especially with the emphasis on the special teams, I do believe that the 49ers are going to need somebody to play in that special teams role. Obviously, Ray is going to be there, but he's more of a returner, not likely to be a gunner. Danny Gray, will they put him there? Possibly. But guys like Ayuk, Jennings, and Debo, they're clearly not going to be put in those positions. So that sixth, is Julio going to play? Obviously not. So I think maybe they value having another body that they can move into special teams and keep a man on the roster that could play both wide receiver and special teams. And Julio just doesn't fit that role. So I personally think it's a long shot for Julio to make the team because of his limited ability to play special teams. So I most likely would think it's Malik Turner 1, Marcus Johnson 2, making it. So let me know what you think. Do you guys have any other receivers that you think might make the roster? How comfortable would you be with the receiver room that consists of Debo, Ayuk, Jennings, Ray, Danny Gray, and let's say Malik Turner? To me, that is a better wide receiver room than I think the 49ers have had maybe in the whole time that Kyle Shanahan and Lynch have been there, maybe in the whole regime, right? 2019, I guess they had a very young Debo, Emmanuel, they had Bourne. I think that this is the most depth that the 49ers have had as far as the wide receiver room. Clearly, the top three are the top three, but Ray, I think, could play a big role as far as his speed, and he could fit right in there with Yak Boys, the Yak Bros. I think Danny Gray, with his speed, could definitely be a difference maker in his ability to stretch the field and even, be another Yak Bro as well. So I believe that the wide receiver room has gotten better. When you look at Ray, Gray, and let's say Malik Turner makes it, they're much better than River Craycraft, Richie James, and Mo Sanu, who were the three that were there last season. So tell me what you guys think. Make sure to like the videos, share it with all your friends, comment as to what you believe is going to be the guys that make it in the 53-man roster, in the wide receivers and the running backs. Let me know how you feel that this 49ers offseason went. Am I crazy for thinking that it was actually a lot more successful than maybe some of us believed previously? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and keep it locked here at So Real Sports Talk.